Nelson with Horror Pop After Midnight over here at Days of the Dead, Indianapolis, and my guest is Subzero, Francois Petit. How's it going, Francois?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. I'm really happy to be there. They're all in Indianapolis and in the show, of course, because it's amazing. And you know, this is a horror show, and Mortal Kombat is not really horror, but we borderline maybe because of the first arcade game, you know, when I'm putting the guy after he's decapitated with the spine and the fibers and the blood going, possible. But I'm happy to be here, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about Mortal Kombat. I mean, I saw it at the theater when it first came out, you know, and you played Subzero. So how did you get to be part of Subzero? Didn't you work behind the scenes first?
Yes, absolutely. I was attached to the movie much prior to the movie happening or being in production. Long story short, I got a call one time and from one of my patients telling me, you know, the president of my corporation, Larry Kazanoff, wants to do a big movie. And he wants to do a martial art movie. Really? A martial art movie in Hollywood? He said, yeah, he wants to do the biggest martial art movie ever done. He wants to beat Bruce Lee onto the dragon and everything. We need you, we need you, we need you. Okay, so got to meet Larry Kazanoff. A few days later with the arcades in Santa Monica, playing the, you know, the video game on the arcades, and I loved it. And I thought it was crazy because to do such a movie, you know, in Hollywood, where to find a martial artist, where to find the whole stuff, they have no idea how to shoot this thing, the camera angle and everything. This is new for them, even more so because we want to do something so big. So we worked for quite a while on that, and then eventually we got into the production. And I was more or less, actually more than less, in the back of the movie, doing the casting direction for the martial art, doing a lot of people are my students, doing the teaching, the organizing, you know, and I'm a doctor, you know, I was a doctor for WWF also, so I was working all over the place. And by that time I was not exclusive to WWF, they were coming to see me, the guys. But anyhow, so now the movie starts, I'm helping everywhere, you know, I'm teaching the guy, I'm doing the casting of the martial art, and eventually they asked me to be someone. Who you want to be? We need you for the promotion. We need you for the because of the, you know, the ranks, the title I have and everything. I said, I want to be the blue guy. I want to be the blue guy. I love the blue guy. That was Subzero.
So what was it also like to be on screen with Christopher Lambert?
Yeah, actually, he's a nice guy. You know, I'm half French, so of course he's half French also. So we knew each other from France. We heard of each other from France. But I never got a movie with him. That was my first movie. And he's a good actor, a good guy. Martial artist, that's another story. But he's a good actor, a good guy, a good voice, and it was a plus for the movie, absolutely.
So, have you seen the new Mortal Kombat movie?
No, I haven't. To this day, I didn't feel like going and see it. You know, I'm a bit. It's a deception for me, you know, because it's so much. Green screen, CGI, computer stuff. It's not real martial art for me. It's all in the editing part of the computer. And eventually I will go, you know, because the star is Japanese, my wife is Japanese, I was raised by Japanese. He's a great actor, I love this guy. But as martial art go, you know, that's another story. So it's, and you know what, the original is the original. And
yes.
you keep on going with new characters, new people. I have no idea who they are. You know, I don't know who they are. So, and then the funny thing, if you look at we talk about the video game, the new video game, MK1,
okay,
which is humongous globally, okay? And a couple of fans came yesterday at my booth with the MK1 Mortal Kombat Special Edition Limited,
wow,
big like that of Subzero. I mean, it's huge. And guess what? The promotion of MK1, all the posters, everything the press media, the release is Subzero and Scorpion. Both of us, that's it. We have the two characters, Subzero and Scorpion. You know, and to this day it's been the same thing. First time I played the arcade in end of 91 was Subzero and Scorpion. 34, 33 years later, still Subzero and Scorpion, no matter what.
That's pretty awesome. I did not know that. That's pretty cool. And when before we got on, I was telling you, I remember when the Mortal Kombat game first came out, the arcade, where I had to wait for like 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
to get a chance on because she had to play who was the
Yes.
top dog.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I played Subzero. I did the best I can, but I still got beat because the guy was playing Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage beating Sub-Zero? That is not right. That
No.
is not right. You must have been drunk that day or something.
Hey, I was young. I was like a teenager around that time, almost, you know, my early 20s. I was drinking Pepsi at her kid. Okay?
You know, funny story about the first video in the arcades, and I guess it's a bit part of the horror thing. It was the only video 18 plus. Yeah, because of the blood. Because of blood, the decapitation, the violence, you know, and blood everywhere, organs everywhere. All the other video games didn't have that. None of them. So that was the only one who was 18. And it might be a reason why it's close to the horror thing. Maybe, I don't know.
Hey, it's still good. I mean, Mortal Kombat had blood and all that. It can
Yes.
be a little bit of horror too.
Yeah, it's borderline, but I love it. I know. And I respect the guy, the fan from Horror Show. Wow, what dedication, what knowledge. Fabulous, really different. So different from Comic Con and fanboys and everything, because you know, I'm finding more. It's my second show at Horror Show, and the first one was in Chicago, and I enjoy it. But the people are coming and say, Mortal Kombat? You know, really? They do a second take. Really? Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero? What is the original? What are you doing here?
You might have some horror fans just like Jason and Freddy going, what?
And then you see Friday the 13th, Jason, Chucky, and everything, you know, and I'm like, Mortal Kombat. pretty intense.
And you're also a martial artist and trainer, of course. You also trained Jean Claude Van Damme.
Yeah, well, a little bit. He came a long time ago. I know him well. I haven't seen him for a long time because, you know, I live in LA for a long time. But Jean Claude's from Belgium. I'm from Paris. So eventually I teach in Belgium, you know, we're 15 years apart. And he's a good martial artist. And he's not that many, I'm telling you, I can't look far finger. And martial art is my life. I started in 1954, okay? And you know, 1954, I had 70 years of practice. And I practice all the time. Every day of my life I practice. And so yeah, he came to the classes in Paris a couple of times, and in Belgium I had to go to a seminar. He was in a seminar. And then I met him. I didn't know who he was. At that time, he was a kid, you know, he was a teenager, he was in the teens, or 18 or 19, or he was a kid. And then I got to meet him again in LA, prior to his first movie in LA. And we met in a farmer's market or something like this. And I looked at him and said, what are you doing here? And he said, I'm making a movie. He said, making a movie? I said, this is in the 70s, you know, 79 or 80, something like this. He said, yeah, I'm making a movie. I'm going to make a, I don't remember the name of the movie. Anyway, I said, good for you. And I hope it's a martial art movie. It's a martial art movie. It's going to be good. And that was it.
That's it.
I think it was Kickboxer.
It was Kickboxer?
That
was another good one too. All the other sequels were
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Also, you were part of the WWE. You were a doctor.
WWF. At that time. WWF.
I'm saying WWE, you know, copyright.
Yeah, of course.
Wild.
It's WWE now.
Yeah.
But I was a part of WWF. Long story short, I had my practice in LA and in Venice Beach, you know. So my dojo was Gold's Gym Mecca, you know, Venice, which is the biggest gym, and the Gold's Gym asked me to put a martial art division for the world for them in the 80s. And so my dojo was there, and my practice was very close to Gold's Gym, and only for professional, you know, athletes. And of course, a lot, and my diplomas are very specific, the Japanese diplomas. And so a lot of the wrestlers knew I was in martial art. They come to my classes, and you know, the central dojo, Hongu dojo, and then I start fixing a couple of guys, a few other guys, and everything. Then finally, after a while, I have a lineup after my house. The whole WWF is lining up when they're coming in town, you know, to come and see me. And then one day was a big injury. I'm not going to talk too much about it. A big injury in the WWF. And 48 hours later, I had a phone call from Vince McMahon telling me, I want you to be exclusive to WWF. And I was exclusive to WWF, so I was on a road with them. And I love the guys. I love the guys so bad. Really, it's a love and hate relationship because it took me to my grave. But those guys are something else.
You were also at one of the shows for the infamous match for Mick Foley.
Yes, Hell in the Cage. Yeah, that was Hell in the Cell. Yeah, that was one of the most beautiful match ever. Certainly one of the most famous one. And I must say, Mick is a good friend of mine. Okay, I haven't seen him for a long time, unfortunately, but we're gonna go see him much more now. And what a gentleman! What a gentleman! What an athlete! So much dedication, and all of them. Don't get me wrong. I don't put one guy above the others. Okay, I love them all. But Mick was this kind, a bit more special than the other. You know, he was not an athlete like The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Okay, you know, he was or like Undertaker.
Yeah.
But what he didn't have in the athleticism part, he had it in his heart and his dedication and his notion and his knowledge of wrestling is brilliant. And the choreography and the ideas that he had and everything, and the craziness, the stance he was pulling was out of this world. So yeah, he was my main patient, and then I got to be involved in a cell, you know, and that was brilliant. That was brilliant, and brilliant.
That had to been. I mean, I always liked him too. You know, all his different personalities and all that great stuff too.
I know. He was mankind and the socks. I mean, coming with all those ideas, you know, and being the top of the world. He was world champion. The guy was the top of the top, you know, the cream, and it's just brilliant. You know, so much talent. And but you know what? Of course, I was more attached to me, I would say, and Stone Cold and a few of the guys like Dwayne, you know, because they had more injuries. Being the doctor, they were coming to me much more, you know. And but all the guys were the nicest people, the nicest gentlemen, giving everything they had, suffering in the back, you know, really they suffer a lot, all of them. And I take my hat to them, you know, the respect I had for them and the respect they had for me, all the way from the top, you know, Vince McMahon, what a man. To his kids, to his wife, to all the guys. I mean, that was a part of my life that I will never forget, you know.
Now, you're going to be in another project. You're going to be in an episode of Darkside of the Ring.
That's brand new. Yeah, they're coming to shoot me in a couple of weeks, not even that, in 10 days. And they're flying from Toronto, and I didn't know what it was, you know, so because I live half the time in Spain, so I was in Spain, and about a month ago, one of my main assistant, who is the president of BJJ for Europe, calls me and say, Shihan is my title in Japan, so everybody calls me Shihan. I have a phone call from this lady from Canada, and she's looking for you, and she's going through me. I said, how did she get your number? I guess through the BJJ, because he's on the board in International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I guess that's why. So he said, can you come and see me? So I came to his house, and he gave me the WhatsApp, and I called her. Her name is Tara Hughes. Beautiful young lady, very respectful, smart, and she said, here we go. We want to do a special about you. I said, special for what? It's a show called The Darkside of the Ring. And it's famous, you know, it's a famous show.
It is.
And all the guys are talking so highly about you. You're the miracle doctor, you know, the miracle worker. Everybody puts you. I said, look, I left the WWF in 2002, at the end of 2002. And that's 22 years later.
And you're Darkside of the Ring.
And then you want to do a whole episode on me and say, yeah, because you must have so many stories about all the guys. I said, yeah, of course I have a lot of stories. But I said, you know, Darkside, it's not going to be sad. Some of them are going to be sad. Of course, I had people dying in my hands, you know, in my arms. But a lot of them are going to be comical, so it's going to be a combination, you know. I'm not a sad guy, I'm a happy guy. So it's going to be a fluctuation of sadness and happiness, and I'm going to try to make the right balance out of it, to adjust it. And she was very happy about it. So they're coming here in, I think, 8-9 days from now, and I'm very excited about that. And I talked to Mick on the WhatsApp, and I haven't seen him, you know, since 2002. And we're going to meet again, and all the guys.
That's crazy to meet Mick again. Yes. Yeah, he mentioned you in his book too.
Yes, I know. And in his book, it's you know, and on his podcast also. He has a podcast. He mentioned me, and And I think, you know, I'm so humble about that, you know, emotional. It's, and I'll tell you a small story.
Okay.
His wife, on his last WhatsApp, he said, my wife is so happy she's going to be meeting you again. She's so happy. The kids now, you know, they're so happy. I didn't know his wife liked me. I thought it was the opposite, because I was the only one who could stop a match for medical reason. Because that's it. He broke his thing, I stopped the match. I never stopped the match. And Nick would never let me stop a match anyway. So he was the first one to get back in the ring, even if he was in pieces. And so she was looking at me like this, you know, and the kids crying in her arms, and I didn't dare to look at her. I was going like that, you know. I could feel the vibes, you know. And now, 22 years later, you know, she wants to meet me, and I'm so happy about that, because I thought she had bad feeling about all those times when the kids were crying and she was leaving the arena and everything, and I think everything was my fault, you know. And there was a lot of the guys like that. And another story I have with Stone Cold.
Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, he did Stone Cold loved music, and he did a CD. You know, he had a CD of his favorite songs and airs. So one day I arrived at, I don't remember what it was, in Philadelphia, I don't remember. Anyway, he comes and he said, here's your CD sign, you know, for you, thank you for what you did for me and everything. So I opened, and there's the biography, and on top of the biography, there's 3 lines, bigger than the other, thanking the most special people in his life. So the first one is his wife, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Then Vince McMahon.
Of course.
And it's me.
Wow.
He said, and I want to thank Dr. Francois Petit and everything. And I'm like, I'm shocked. And this is opening the CD, the CD book, because it was 2 CD or 3 CD, I don't remember. And I kept it, you know, and I kept it, of course I kept it. And I was shocked, you know, I didn't do that for that. I had no idea it's going to happen. He didn't say anything. I didn't ask for anything. And that, it came from his heart, you know. It's brilliant.
All right, one last question. So, are you a big horror fan? And if you are, what was that first horror movie you saw?
Oh my God! Remember my age, huh? So I think it was a black and white movie of Dracula. Dracula. From
Bela Lugosi Dracula?
Oh, it was.
Or was it Christopher Lee Dracula? If it's black and white, it's probably Bela Lugosi.
I say Bela Lugosi.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was in the 50s. And so the movie was, I think, from pre-World War II.
Okay.
So the movie was from the 30s, and I saw it in the 50s, because in France, after World War II, was no movies, there was nothing. So I saw it in the 50s. I was a kid. I was 8 or 9 years old, and it was a black and white. It was amazing.
Yeah, those movies are great to watch, especially in black and white, because it gives you that eerie
Oh
feeling.
my God, it was brilliant. That was the first one I saw, and I really enjoyed it. But at that time, there was not too many movies, and I was a fan of John Wayne. So.
Oh, you're a John Wayne fan too.
Oh my God.
From horror to John Wayne.
Oh my God, yeah, completely.
Okay, another question before we end this. Who do you think would win in a gunslinging match between John Wayne and Clint Eastwood?
John Wayne.
John Wayne by far?
He told him. Always to the master. I have a lot of respect for Clint Eastwood, okay, of course. But John Wayne, I mean, he's the boss. He told him, you know. And I was very close friend with Dennis Hopper. A very close friend.
Dennis Hopper?
With
Okay.
Dennis Hopper. And very, very close friend. And his first movie was with John Wayne, you know, and he was telling me a story about John Wayne, you know, and he did quite a lot. I mean, Dennis Hopper is a huge monster. And he loved the horror movies too. He loved horror movies. And it's, horror movies. Well, I never thought about doing a horror show, and here I am talking to you.
Look at you, what a Subzero, trapped in the world of horror. You have to admit, the horror community and the horror fans are great.
They do. They are great. And they're nice people. They really, and they're very knowledgeable. Oh my God, they know so much about the stars and the people they love and the movie and the story and the history in the back. Wow, really good, really good.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for taking your time
My pleasure, my
Thank
friend.
you.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, thank
Really.
you. No, thank you. And there you have it.